So the point of this video is really to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 and why it's so important. Now, I haven't made a video in a minute. I apologize. Busy and video ideas haven't really been there. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is the Nintendo Switch 2, why is it so important? Why is this like Nintendo's most important console to ever release? I say this because the Nintendo Switch's success. It's one of the hottest, best, biggest selling consoles of all frickin' time, between the Switch Lite, the Switch OLED. So I really think they need to keep the Nintendo Switch as the title, like whether it's Super Nintendo Switch 2, something like that, along those lines. I don't think they're going to go with a new kind of title, because it'd be smart to just keep Switch in that title. Whatever it's called, I think Switch being in the title, it makes sense. Now, Wii to Wii U didn't make sense. It was just completely confusing. People thought it was just another Wii, but the Switch sells so incredibly well that if you keep that Switch name, I think it would still sell really well. But the problem is some people might get it confused. You don't want your casual audience to get confused when it comes to the title of a console. But I say this is so important because the Switch has sold so many units throughout the last almost 8 years now, which is crazy to even think that it's been that long, that the new console really needs to not only step it up a notch, but they need to play it very smartly. They don't want another Wii U situation. We already know it's going to be backwards compatible with the Nintendo Switch, which is a huge bingo. That is good. We were worried about that for a little bit because it would have been such a terrible idea if it wasn't. So I think it's definitely going to be basically a Switch again, but upgraded hardware, better hardware in general. I think it's going to be great. Now, when it comes to launch titles and games they're cooking up for this thing, that is going to be key. That is going to be a very big deal when it comes to this console, because the Switch, when the Switch first came out, let me tell you a little bit of a quick story, just real quick. When the Nintendo Switch first dropped, I didn't get one day one. Why? Because I thought it was going to be another Wii U situation. I was very disappointed in the Wii U. Not saying it's bad, but I was very disappointed because at launch, there was like nothing good to play hardly. And then other than Zelda, of course, no, Zelda didn't release for the Wii U. That was Switch. There wasn't much at launch, really, until Mario Kart came out and Zelda Wind Waker HD. There wasn't much going on for the Nintendo Switch, I mean the Wii U at launch, and it was just it didn't have games to sell the console, really, so that was my worry with the Switch, and that's why I didn't get it day one. I got it after there was both Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey. That way I had two big titles to play. And I was like, okay, I got two really, really good, strong games here to play. I'm going to get a Switch now. I'm going to play them because I didn't want to play Breath of the Wild on the Wii U. So I did not get Breath of the Wild day one because I did not want to get a Switch day one because I was scared it was going to be another Wii U situation. I don't know if any of you have been the same way, but that was my situation with the Switch when it first started. I had no idea that the Switch would end up being such an amazing console with hundreds of incredible games on it, of so many different varieties. Not to mention the amount of third-party support, because third-party support is very important. You guys got to understand that a lot of games that sell on the Switch are third-party. Like, so many hot sellers on the Switch are third-party because people love playing these games on the go. And being able to play games on the go is like the new big thing. Like, PlayStation and Xbox are kind of doing their own thing. I think Xbox is making a handheld. PlayStation did the Portal type of thing, which is kind of weird. I don't know if they're going to do something new that's better in the future, but I feel like portable consoles that you can play at home and on the go are like the next. It's just like the thing that everyone's going to follow suit. And I think that Nintendo starting that trend before anyone else was probably why the Switch was so successful. And all of the great first-party titles and all the third-party support as well made that console what it is. Now, that being said, I think the new console, it just needs really good games, has to have quality, has to be reasonably priced for families to want to get that for their kids or whatever, because the thing is that the Switch was, you could either get the Switch OLED, or the Switch Lite, and there was different prices. But when the Switch first came out at $400, that was all there was, but it was a console handheld hybrid, and you had a lot of good family games on it, not at launch, but like over time. And I think some families and people look at that as well. So we're talking Mario, we're talking Zelda, we're talking Metroid. Please give me back like F-Zero too and stuff, but Nintendo needs to look at it this way. They need to look at what's going to sell well. And what's going to sell the console well is going to be your 3D Marios, your 3D Zeldas, your Mario Karts. I would say Metroid Prime 4, but let's be honest, kids aren't going to be playing Metroid Prime 4 because they don't know probably much about Metroid. That's all us adult fans, which is the majority of Nintendo fans nowadays, actually, because my generation is having kids now. Those kids are playing all this stuff that we grew up with, learning what this stuff is. So, but when it comes to like older families with grandchildren or whatever, you name it, I think that your Marios, your Zeldas are the two like really big ones, like your Mario Party, your Mario Kart, your 3D Marios, your 3D Zeldas. Those kind of games are the big hot sellers. Pokemon is also really huge. I don't know if ZA is going to launch with this new console. I have no idea. We know nothing about Pokemon ZA right now, hardly at all, other than it's another Legends game and it takes place in Generation 5, which is the X and Y world. We have no idea like anything about it yet until the Pokemon company decides to reveal something, which is good because I think that they've been taking their time with this one compared to what's been going on at Game Freak these past few years, which is good because I want them to take their time. We don't need Game Freak to pump stuff out so dang fast. I don't care if your game sells 20 million units in like 1 week or less. It's just, never mind. Pokemon's a whole different topic. I did rank all of the Pokemon mainline games, by the way, not too long ago, about a month ago, if you want to go check that out. But this was just a video I wanted to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 and why it's so important for it to be good, to have strong launch titles that are exclusive to it. The backwards compatibility is already good news. We don't know whether certain games are going to have upgraded versions at launch, if they're going to be free, if it's going to be $10 upgrade. I think some games might have like $10 upgrades, I'm thinking. Like PlayStation did. I think they're going to copy PlayStation in that aspect of some games just having that $10 upgrade, and I'm totally okay with that. Like, if I can play Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom for $10 extra in 60 frames, solid and better looking, I'll do it. I mean, because I really like those games. If you really like a specific game and it has an upgrade for like $10, sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes it just is something that's worth it if you really like a game. But that being said, this is one entire recording. Wow. That being said, I just want this console to succeed. I want it to be good. I want it to be a hot seller. I want it to have great launch titles. I want it to have the success that the Switch has. And I think Nintendo, this is why they've taken so long to bring out another one, because they even said before they did not know what they were going to do after the Switch. They did not know how to proceed to make the success that the Switch has had with a new console. And I'm sure we all understand that, because realistically speaking, the Switch could go, despite its tech, despite its funky hardware, its success is not going down. So I think the console itself really could go for another 5-6 years if Nintendo really wanted to, and they would still make bank. They would still make bank because they have good games on it. That's the only thing. They have good games on it. But do I want to see the next 3D Zelda on 8-year-old hardware going on 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old hardware? No, absolutely not. Because you got to move forward, shoot forward, and you got to, with the way hardware is now when you look at PlayStation and Xbox compared to Nintendo, they are way behind the times. So it's about that time next year for this new console, and I can't wait to see what exactly it looks like. What's the hardware in it? I can't wait for just a direct specifically for it. They might reveal a trailer first before they do a direct. I'm curious how they're going to do it. With the Switch, all they did was a trailer, dropped a random trailer. That was it at first. So maybe they'll do an actual direct. Who knows? But we're not sure yet. We will find out in 2025. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think they need to do for this console to succeed and have the success that the Nintendo Switch had, or even that the Wii had, or the 3DS had? Just some kind of really good success, selling millions and millions of units. I'm not talking Switch success. I don't know if they can pull that off. But just for it to be not confusing to your casual audiences and to be something that people would want to buy. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.